The Law That Changed Women's Rights, a Kirralie Smith investigation, Ep.2, when women's sport became the test case. Why did women's sport become the first major battlefield? Why not hospitals? Why not workplaces? Why not government departments? Because sport exposes something that cannot easily be hidden: physical reality. The scoreboard does not negotiate. The finish line does not compromise. Performance eventually reveals what policy attempts to manage. And that's why women's sport became the place where the post-2013 legal framework would face its first major public examination. This episode examines how women's sport became the testing ground for competing claims about biological sex, gender identity, fairness, inclusion, and the purpose of female sporting categories. For generations, female sporting categories existed for a simple reason. Women and girls required their own protected competitive divisions. The purpose was not exclusion. The purpose was fairness, participation, opportunity, safety, the protection of female achievement. But after 2013, a new legal reality emerged. Gender identity became a protected characteristic under federal law. And many sporting organisations now face a difficult challenge. How should female categories be governed when biological sex and gender identity pointed toward different outcomes? Some administrators believed inclusion should carry great weight. Others argued the original purpose of female sport could not survive if biological sex ceased to be the governing standard. And the disagreement was not merely political, it was structural. The more organisations attempted to accommodate competing expectations, the more public controversy followed. Athletes raised concerns, parents asked questions, officials found themselves under pressure from multiple directions, and what had once been a straightforward eligibility issue became a national argument about rights. And for many women, the concern was simple. If female categories were created because biological differences mattered, what happens when biological sex is no longer the primary eligibility standard? And that question would soon move beyond sporting clubs. It would enter media coverage, public campaigns, legal complaints, and eventually every part of the courts. Among those asking the question publicly was Kirralie Smith. The collision was getting closer. Women's sport became the first public stress test of the 2013 amendments because it forced Australia to confront a question Parliament never clearly resolved. What happens when biological sex and gender identity point toward different answers? In the next episode, we'll look at the Football New South Wales decision that transformed a policy debate into a national controversy.